So yesterday was Valentine's Day. Me and my fiance, we went out to eat and then we did some shopping and then we capped it off with a little movie. The movie that we went to go see was this one right here. And I just have to tell you, do not watch this movie. Do not even give it a chance. If you're hearing bad things about this movie, believe every single one of them. Every single one of those reviews, please believe it. Do not waste your money. If you bought tickets, refund it. Don't watch this movie. You know how Morbius was like the laughing stock of superhero movies? Yeah, well, this takes the cake by far. I'm hearing that it's somewhere in the same realm. I don't believe that. I think that this movie is by far way worse. It has to be #1 worst superhero movie I have ever seen in my life. I was gonna try and make this review without spoilers, but I can't even do that. So if you don't want spoilers and you're not here, and you're still gonna go watch the movie, then just click off of the video. But just remember that I told you, do not watch this movie. So basically, the movie has no substance, okay? It's pretty horrible. The acting is also horrible. The dialogue, horrible. And honestly, while I was watching it, I kept having to look at their lips because it felt like it was just a voiceover the entire movie. It didn't feel like the actors were talking and showing emotions from the actual scene. It just looked like a voiceover the entire time. My fiance did not agree with me on that point, but I don't know. I could just be wrong. I'm in editing now, but I forgot to say that it also had the cheesiest quips ever. And at one point in the movie, she's teaching the girls how to do CPR, and you just know it's going to come back later. But the thing is, they try to make it an emotional scene, and you don't care about any of the characters in this movie for it to be emotional whatsoever. There was no reason for it. So I'm going to start from the beginning. In the beginning of the movie, it just throws you right in. They're in the Amazon forest. They're looking for these spiders that have healing properties, super abilities, everything like that. The guy, I don't even remember his name anymore. I'm just going to call him Ed because I don't even remember his name. Ed was the bodyguard of the mother of Madame Web. Right? So mom is trying to find this spider that could cure everything. The dialogue from Ed is basically, I agreed to be hired by you because I thought that you were close to finding the spider that could give us superpowers so that we could take everything over. Huh? That wasn't verbatim, but the mom ends up finding the spider. Ed just starts gunning people down. The mom's like, how could you do this? Why are you doing this? And Ed's like, I don't feel bad. Nobody helped me when my family was starving. What the fuck? I don't care. I don't know who you are. You're not even connected to any other Marvel. Why would I give a shit? I don't care. Mom gets shot. Bink. The spider people of Peru came down from the trees, grabbed her body, started jumping around trees and shit, bring her to a lagoon. She has Madame Web, and then she died. The guy who saved her said that he'll be here for when Madame Web comes to find answers. Movie jumps in, and it is literally just her living her day-to-day life for at least 25 to 30 minutes. Nothing interesting's happening. All of a sudden, there's an accident. She ends up dying and then being revived, figures out that she has powers. The way that they showed her powers off really just pissed me off. It was very, very offsetting. They did not do it well. It just wasn't well. So a whole scene will play out and then it'll jump back to the beginning of the scene. Okay. And then it'll play out all over again, and then it'll jump back to the beginning again. There's no need for you to do it 3 times. Just do it twice, call it a day. She would make minor differences, minor changes, but realistically, it doesn't matter. I don't feel anything for these characters. I don't know these characters. Mind you, Madame Web was a bitch because, rightfully so. She was thrown into an orphanage and she just grew up by herself, so I get it. But I don't care. So then she starts bumping into the 3 spider girls and everything like that. Cool. A little bit more goes on, and then they are all in the train station at the same time. There's no curiosity built in this movie. Everything's thrown at you. So the whole reason that Ed is even hunting the girls down is because he has visions every night of the 3 Spider Women killing him. It is despicable to even call them Spider Woman because the amount of time that they actually had suits on and were fighting inside of that movie was maybe a minute, And it was all through flashbacks. There was no, they did not gain their powers. They did not, they did, nothing happened. It was no action at all. Nothing. They did not figure out that they had powers. They didn't even get their goddamn powers in the movie. So whatever you see in the trailers with them dressed up in their Spider-Woman costumes, beating ass and shit, that's all in flashbacks. And it's literally maybe a minute's worth of it. It's not even, it's nothing. It's nothing. So they're in the train station. Madam Web sees them die multiple times. She grabs them all and they run off the train. Now they go to a forest off in Bumblefuck. The girls get bored. They go to the diner. Madam Web sees that they get killed again. So then she runs it back, says, let's try that again. And then goes, hits Ed with the car, grabs the girls again, go to a motel. So at this point, Madam Web decides, I'm going to go to Peru and I'm going to figure out what's going on. Ben Parker, here, take these 3 spider girls to your house for a week. If they're being tracked, why the fuck? What? Doesn't even make any sense. So then she goes to Peru. She's walking in the forest. Dude pops out of nowhere. I knew that you would be back. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He brings her to the lake that she was born in, throws her essence in, like in Doctor Strange when his body got pushed out and shit. That's what happens. And she figures out that she has these powers of being able to tell time and be anywhere all at once. Shit like that. Figured out that her mom loved her and was only there so that she didn't have like a disability. And then she goes back home. Now she gets back home. Peter Parker's being born. By the way, they did not want to add the name Peter Parker whatsoever in this movie. Not even a little bit. They tried to make sure that nobody and nothing from Spider-Verse was involved in this movie, which doesn't make any sense because Madam Web is supposed to be like the goddess of the web. It doesn't make any sense. So Peter Parker is being born and they all get thrown into the car. And then all of a sudden, Ed can find them because he had national security, like face IDing, tracking shit. So he finds them, tracks them down to like Times Square or some shit like that. And then guess what? Madam Web comes with an ambulance and fucking runs him over again. Stupid. Now all of a sudden she knows how to use her powers like precisely. So the whole runtime of this movie, an hour and 40 minutes, she had not a single clue on how to use her powers. The minute she gets back home, she knows exactly how to tell when anything and everything's about to happen. So she's like, girl, grab the defibrillator. Put it on the top of the ambulance. Wait, now! And then they zap him, and then he falls off the ambulance. In the final, fight, it wasn't even a fight. There was no fight. It wasn't a fight. During the final sequence, they're, like, putting flares next to fireworks and shit so that they could, like, position him to get blown up. Doesn't work out. Then they get to the top of the roof and they're doing like fights, but like you can't fight him because he has super strength. So she like makes it so that she knows when a sign's gonna fall on him, and then he dies, and then she gets blown up too, but she doesn't die. She just gets blinded, and I guess her legs don't work anymore. That was the end of the movie. Horrible movie. If it sounded like that was all over the place, it kind of was. The whole movie was all over the place. I tried to just narrow it down as good as possible, but the movie was bad. The movie was shit. The movie was horrible. The acting, it felt very forced. It felt like nobody wanted to be there. It felt like they were just kind of like Walking Dead through it. Like they just didn't give a shit. They knew that they were gonna get a bag and that's about it. Yeah, this was just not a good movie. I can't say anything good about it. There was no redeeming qualities. It wasn't fun bad. It was just bad. I don't know why this movie was made. Actually, I do. I think the only reason that this movie was made was because Sony had to make a movie to keep the rights to the characters or something like that. Besides that, I don't see another reason as to why this movie was made. This was like the dog shit of dog shit. This was like going to the store to buy socks and you end up buying like underwear. I know that didn't make sense, but neither did the movie, so does it really fucking matter? Tell me. Does it? Does it matter? Yeah. Yeah, this shit was bad. Don't watch it. See you later.